Hold on, I hear a whole lot of folks. Hold on.
You got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old past said. Boy, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got trouble, and I got them too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. We stick together, see it through, 'cause you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Now some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, big and stronger too, maybe, but none of them will ever love you the way I do. It's me and you, boy, and as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
Take a seat, right over there. Sat on the stairs, stay or leave. The cabinets are bare and I'm unaware of just how we got into this mess. Got so aggressive. I know we meant all good intentions. So pull me closer. Why don't you pull me close? Why don't you come on over? I can't just let you go. Oh baby, why don't you just meet me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just meet me in the middle? In the middle. Baby, why don't you just meet me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just meet me in the middle? In the middle. Oh, take a step back for a minute into the kitchen. Floors are wet and taps are still running, dishes are broken. How did we get into this mess? Got so aggressive. I know we meant all good intentions. So pull me closer. Why don't you pull me close? Why don't you come on over? I can't just let you go. Oh baby, why don't you just meet me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just meet me in the middle? In the middle. Looking at you, I can't lie. Just pouring out admission, regardless of my objection. Oh, and it's not about my pride. I need you on my skin, just come over, pull me in, just. Oh, baby, why don't you just meet me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just meet me in the middle? In the middle, no, no, baby. Why don't you just meet me in the middle? Oh yeah, I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just meet me in the middle? Oh, in the middle, baby. Why don't you just meet me in the middle, baby? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just meet me in the middle, middle, in the middle, middle.
When you're down and troubled and you need a helping hand, and nothing, well, nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running. Oh yeah, babe, to see you again. Winter, spring, summer or fall, now all you got to do is call, and I'll be there, yeah, yeah, yeah. You've got a friend. If the sky above you should turn dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind should begin to blow. Keep your head together and call my name out loud now. Soon I'll be knocking upon your door. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running. Oh yes, I will see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, yeah. All you got to do is call, and I'll be there, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, ain't it good to know that you got a friend? People can be so cold. They'll hurt you and desert you. Well, they'll take your soul if you let them. Oh yeah, but don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Oh baby, don't you know about winter, spring, summer, or fall? Hey now, all you've got to do is call. Lord, I'll be there, yes I will know you've got a friend. You've got a friend, yeah. Ain't it good to know you've got a friend? Ain't it good to know you've got a friend? Oh yeah, yeah, you've got a friend.
All the girls
Good evening, Riverside families. It is so good to see so many friendly faces tonight. I feel like I haven't seen some of you in ages. I see Anaya and Brian and the Hannah family. And I saw DeLeon and Angelise and Emma. Oh my goodness, it's so good to see you guys. You look so grown. And Anaya, I see you hiding back there trying to peep on me. Yes, I'm here, honey. I haven't seen you since March, but I still remember who you are. So we want to say good evening to everybody and welcome to our new families. Welcome to Riverside School. This evening, we're going to go through a presentation that kind of will preview you guys about our virtual learning experience when we return back to school on Tuesday. So we're going to remind you guys to mute your microphones, but kind of behind the scenes, we've muted them for you. Ms. Kamastar and I have been lucky enough to be on plenty of virtual calls in the last 6 months. And if anything throws your presentation off, it's people unmuting. And so we have disabled that feature. And we've also this evening just disabled the chat until we finish our presentation. We want to make sure you guys have a chance to listen because we might actually answer quite a few of your questions during this presentation tonight. And then if you're actually calling in this evening, if you have questions, you can send them to my district email, jessica.gamble@clevelandmetroschools.org, and we will return your question within 48 hours. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So part of this presentation, we are going to be talking about some of the planning work that has gone on behind the scenes at the district level to prepare us for a virtual learning experience. So just to know, the district priorities have been always maintaining the health and safety and well-being of all of our scholars and our staff. We want to make sure that this virtual experience still includes joy, and we are still aligned to a unified core curriculum. It is so important to us that we support both our scholars, our staff, and our families as all of you adapt to this new rhythm of learning and teaching. We want to make sure we ensure operational efficiency across the entire district, and we are still partnering with many local community organizations to make sure that we are supporting all of our families. If you guys visit the CMSD website, you'll find the reopening plan in all of its detail.
Okay, so we want you to know that we are all in this together. We are committed to keeping our scholars safe as well as our educators. We will support our scholars and families and educators as we adapt and learn our new cycle of teaching. We will provide regular communication about how your scholar or scholars are doing. We will partner with organizations, and we're all going to work together to learn to navigate our new normal. Riverside staff adopted a theme this year. We worked together in groups and came up with a theme that we would like to incorporate through the year that's very fitting. So here at Riverside, we overcome, we evolve, and we grow. Today, tomorrow, and always, because we are owl strong. We're going to use that hashtag a lot. So here is our Riverside educator family. We look a little different, but we cannot wait to see everyone virtually. We are very excited, and we just can't wait to see all your smiling faces on Tuesday. Here we are. On this slide here, there are some important contacts for you. We will post this slideshow through the video within the next day or so. We're going to upload it to YouTube so people can watch it if they need to again. But on this slide is the Riverside phone number, as well as Ms. Gamble's contact information, Ms. Davis's contact information, and my information. Here's a slide with some other important phone numbers. We'll make sure you have access to this via Dojo as well as in the video presentation, but this has some district phone numbers that you may need over the course of our closure.
So we want to let you guys know that the main office is still open, although we are not open in terms of for school. So Ms. Davis is in the office every day from 8 until 4. And we also have security in the office every day from 8 until 4 as well. The only time of the day that Ms. Davis does typically not answer the phone is when she's taking a lunch break between noon and 1. We do ask that you guys at least call prior to coming to the office. And please know that we follow all COVID health screening guidelines when you come in. You will be asked to sign in, we will take your temperature, and all visitors must wear a mask, and they must stay 6 feet behind. Let me turn that feature off. So a lot of you guys that are new to Riverside, and especially for our middle school families, know that we are crazy for Class Dojo. Last year, we decided to adopt a paperless school philosophy and communicate with our families only using types of technology. Well, when school closed in March, it became the #1 way that you and we stayed connected. So we are going to continue using Class Dojo this school year, except we're going to extend it all the way through 8th grade. We are no longer going to be using Jupiter grades. So we will solely be using Class Dojo as our school-wide communication. Here's just an example of what a Class Dojo post might look like from a teacher and all the reasons why you need to stay connected. So it allows you to reach all of your child's teachers. That includes Ms. Kamastar and myself, the secretary, the nurse, the planning center, paraprofessional, and all their encore teachers like art, music, PE, and library. It also allows you to quickly message Ms. Kamastar and I, and we will get back to you as soon as we have a free minute. You're able to stay up to date with all of our important school information, and you get notifications right to your phone. And as a parent and a principal at Riverside, I actually get double the communication because I get my own messages sent to my phone for my 2 kiddos. Class Dojo is free, it's super easy, and we need to make sure all of you guys are connected because it's the #1 way for us to reach all of you quickly. So I know a lot of you guys this evening, if we had the chat open, you would be asking, where are the laptops? Where are the hotspots? And so we are going to let you guys know, as of right now, we are still waiting for our distribution date for grades 1 to 8. Today, we were super excited to be able to invite our pre-kindergarten and kindergarten families in to pick up their iPads. However, we are still waiting on the distribution date for laptops for students in grades 1 through 8. As most of you guys can imagine, there is a backup of laptops across the country, as every district across the country for the most part has gone remote. Every single day, more devices are coming into the district offices, but those do require a little bit of imaging and tagging before they put them on a truck and deliver them to us. Our hope is that we get them tomorrow and we can call you guys to come tomorrow, but if not, we might have to start next Tuesday without devices, and we will keep all of you guys informed about that. As soon as the devices hit our building, we will call you via robocall. We will drop a message on Class Dojo. We will also send emails, and we will let you guys know through Instagram and Facebook. We understand that many of you are waiting, and we know that this is a pain and a sticking point for all of you. But not only Riverside, we're not the only school in the district that hasn't received their technology yet. So we are hoping it comes. And at the latest, we hope it comes the middle of next week. So please just be patient with us and know that the district is doing everything to ensure those devices get into your children's hands as soon as possible. The other supply that will be coming for all students this year are remote learning kits. So every student, depending on their grade, will receive a supply box that will be full of at-home learning materials that they need to be successful from home. Those boxes also will include music supplies and art supplies. Those supplies should be here mid next week, which, on a positive note, glass half full, our goal is always to be able to streamline as much pickup for you as possible. So we're hopeful that the boxes will be there at the same time as the laptops, and then you guys only have to come to the school one time to pick everything up. When those items come in, we will let you know as soon as possible. So this evening, we wanted to walk through with you guys how students are going to get onto the learning management system next week. So I'm just going to reduce. I'm going to actually, Heather, Ms. Kamastar, if you could allow me to share screen.
I sure can. Hold on one moment. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So hold on one second so that you can share yours.
So another benefit of sometimes being a parent and a principal or an employee in the district is that I can actually walk you guys through some of the steps using one of my children's accounts that I don't tell them about, so that you guys can see firsthand what that looks like. So starting tomorrow, for those of you that are able to participate in the practice run, every day students will start their day going to the main CMSD website, which we have pulled up here. For many of our returning students, this is a very familiar procedure, as this is what they did almost every day in their classroom. Then our students will toggle over to the Students tab and down to the word clever. Once clever opens up, and it opened up as Kevin's, of course, that's my son, there is a login page, and I'll see if I can log out so you guys can see it backwards. There's a login page that looks like this. This week, our amazing staff has been feverishly calling all of you to make sure you have your child's clever password as well as their email address, their district issued email address. So you have two options here when you log in through Clever. If your teacher sent a badge, which is basically like a QR code, you would click Clever Badge. If your teacher sent the login information, username, and password using numerals and alphabet letters, you would click Login with Clever. This evening, I'm going to log in with a badge.
Miss Gamble, I'm going to pop on for 1 minute. I've received a few dojos about people not being able to see the shared screen. That might be a setting issue. On the top of your Zoom call where you see the pictures of other folks, the little screens, you can, at the top, you'll see, let me tell you, it's going to show you speaker view or presentation. You need to change how you're viewing the Zoom so that you can then see Miss Gamble's presentation as well.
And we remember we are recording this video, so you guys can always scan until you see me start screen sharing, and the recorded video we'll send out tomorrow. So when students get inside of their Clever, they're going to find a variety of applications that are all in the shape of squares. Some of our students from last year have probably favorited programs that we used in the past. Our smaller students or younger students might have favorited Lexia Core 5. And all they do to favorite is to hover over the box and click the heart. The reason we ask kiddos to favorite, and we do it as adults as well, is those resources that we're going to use every day should always be at the top, so we don't have to scroll and look for them when it's time for us to log in. So once kids log in, they will then find the Schoology app. And the best way to describe Schoology is your Riverside at home. And they will then log in to Schoology. As you know, I haven't put in any additional passwords. One of the most amazing things the district has done, and it'll go this way, so I'm sorry, it'll go in, but it automatically will log Kevin in. Do you see I'm not touching anything? All those things were automatic. CMSD has what's called a one-touch login. Once kids log into Clever, any program that's inside of Clever right here, they do not have to use an additional username or password for. All of these programs are connected to that one username and password they use to log in. Once students get into Schoology, they will then see their courses. Right now in the Courses tab, it is blank. And the reason that is because we are not turning, or I should say the district is not turning Schoology on until Tuesday. We really don't want kids in here playing around too much yet, but when they come in on Tuesday, they would click courses and they'll see all of their math, reading, science, social studies, physical education, art, and music. And that is where they will begin their day every day. For tomorrow's purposes, for our practice, our kids are going to go to the little yellow dot that's on the envelope at the top. And when they click into that mail message, they will see a message from their teacher. And inside that message is going to be a link right here, this hyper blue link, for them to join a meeting with their class tomorrow. Tomorrow is simply a practice day. We found it very important as a staff to make sure we allow kids an opportunity to log on to Schoology for the first time before Tuesday morning. Because on Tuesday morning, everybody's going to be so nervous. We wanted to make sure all of you guys had a little bit of familiarity with the program we're going to be using. Okay, Heather.
Okay, hold on 1 second. It's frozen. There we go. My apologies. My mouse pad was frozen for a moment. So basically what Miss Gamble said in a nutshell is that Schoology is our learning management system. It really does for us what we would do if we were walking through the halls of Riverside. So it's going to enable us all to communicate with you, to share lessons with the students, to have a balance of lessons they're doing live with you, as well as lessons live with us, as well as lessons they're doing with you on their own. And it will enable you to see and be a part of the communication process. And it's very user friendly. I have 3 nieces that live in Cincinnati. They've already started school, and a kindergartner, 2nd grade, and 6th grade, they're all using Schoology, and they're able to navigate it all day on their own. So within Schoology, you'll use Clever. Miss Gamble already walked you through how to do that, but you'll see on these slides, it is listed out so that if you're having trouble and you go back, you can either reference the slide or Miss Gamble's presentation to get you to where you need to be. And now, as far as the standard remote learning day goes, for the whole entire district, our standard day will begin at 8:30 and end at 3. Now, that doesn't mean your child will be logged onto the computer all day. There will be a balance of time on the computer and time working on their own. Students on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday will have a balance of synchronous or live learning and then asynchronous or independent learning. On Wednesdays, students do not have learning. Now, with the exception of maybe a tutor sets up time, or maybe their teacher wants to meet with them one-on-one, or maybe an intervention specialist for special ed says, hey, let's log on and practice what you learned on Monday and Tuesday. Now, preschool will have up to 90 minutes of synchronous instruction or live instruction a day and 80 minutes of asynchronous per day. So there will be a balance. It might be, there's a couple different things that could happen. Your child's teacher could log on at 8:30 and have a morning meeting with them, teach a small lesson, and then ask them to log off and do some work, and then meet them back later in the day. Or it could be that they stay logged in and then the teacher is available for help. Each individual teacher will work out when their synchronous and asynchronous times will be. And speaking of that, here is a sample schedule. So if you look at this slide, it could be that there's a morning meeting and some math and phonics practice, and then the students have a break. So, and then they move into science or social studies. There could be a balance of synchronous and asynchronous instruction throughout any school day. It is worth noting that the entire building has school-wide lunch each day from 11:40 to 12:30. It's also important to note that your child will still be involved in an encore or a special each day. They will have music, library, reading intervention, physical education, and/or art. So they will have a combination of those four of the 5 throughout the virtual learning experience.
We are going to continue with 2 programs in our virtual learning that we started using last year, and they are called Lexia and Power Up. So students will be utilizing both of these programs more than likely during independent practice time. Both Lexia and Power Up are individualized to student needs. So the students auto-place the first time they log in for the school year, and then based upon that assessment, the program adjusts to their needs to ensure that they reach grade level proficiency or above. Lexia and Power Up also allow our teachers to provide strategic intervention for students who are struggling. Both systems actually identify kids who are in struggle and provide lessons for our teachers to give to students. So we want to let you guys know we're going to continue using that. And as of today, we are also going to continue using Math IXL. We were approved to continue the use of that program actually early this evening. So we are excited to be able to move forward with that program as well.
And all 3 of those programs would be examples of asynchronous learning.
So for attendance, we want to let you guys know that we still are required to take attendance. And just like previous years, like starting last year, we measure that in hours. We track attendance for both live sessions as well as independent practice sessions. So for live sessions, we track that students were present. And for independent sessions, we track whether or not they've completed the work that they were assigned. So if for an independent session, they were required to write spelling sentences and upload those sentences into Schoology, and they completed that, they would receive the hours that they completed it. However, if they were assigned something independently and it was not completed, they would actually lose that time in terms of attendance. And we have to track all of those things. This is a new experience for teachers, as well as secretaries and administrators. We are used to just tracking whether kids come in the morning and if they leave in the afternoon. We are now required to track almost every facet of students' days to ensure that we are reporting attendance accurately. If your child is going to be out for the entire day, they're going to be late for a considerable amount of time, or you're going to be leaving early, you must report these absences to Ms. Davis in the main office, and we've listed the school number there. Just as though we were in a regular school building, if they are going to be out because they're sick, you're traveling, you have a doctor's appointment, you need to report those absences in the same fashion that we reported them before. We will ask you guys, please do not message your child's teacher about their absence. Absences need to go to the secretary. So we want to talk about how we can support your kiddos during this virtual learning. So just to let you guys know that kids are not required to wear a uniform during our virtual learning sessions. However, they should be dressed appropriately for school. We encourage you guys to get into a routine when it comes to virtual learning to make everything feel a little kind of normal, right? They're used to waking up and maybe brushing their teeth, putting on lotion, getting dressed, making their beds. We encourage you guys to follow those same similar routines. Create a schedule and make a commitment to stick with it. Work with your child to find a learning space that it is as free from distraction as possible. And we encourage you guys to have them set up their devices that are facing a wall. So if you see the way I'm facing right now, there's a wall right behind me. And this allows it to make it easier so people aren't walking back and forth when they're in the middle of their learning. Another would be to face their computers into a corner. So they're actually sitting with their backs in a corner, which make it difficult for siblings or parents or guests that might be in the house to kind of wander back behind their screen when they're doing learning. It's also important that we continue to monitor our kiddos' social and emotional wellness. So we want to watch for changes in behavior, excessive crying or irritation, unhealthy eating or sleeping habits, difficulty concentrating, which might be early signs of struggling with stress and anxiety. Please check in with your children to ask how they're feeling and communicate that some of their feelings are normal, as that we are going through a big change again when it comes to starting school. Please identify times where your children can be physically active during virtual learning at home. And if you have any problems or you need support, please feel free to reach out to our staff.
Okay, so many of you have already received phone calls from a staff member, a teacher, or a paraprofessional who have been calling all of the families within the building. You may have even received a call from someone who wasn't a Riverside educator, because we were doing our best to pair families together. So we apologize if you received more than one call, but you may have received a call for one for your whole family, or maybe one for each child, but either way, we're recording that information. When you receive that phone call, if you haven't already, they're going to talk about meal selection options, technology support, locations for remote learning if scholars need a place to go during the day. And those calls are continuing to happen. Right now, the district has reached about 75% of all families. We're going to work until we reach as close to 100% as possible. So if you have a neighbor or a friend or someone else that you know is in the school and hasn't heard from someone, tell them to be, or if you haven't heard from some of them, tell them to be on the lookout and answer that phone call. It may come from a number you don't recognize, or it may be blocked, but we are continuing to try those calls every day. Meal distribution. So you're going to have a couple of different options for selecting as far as how you would like to receive meals. Meal pickup begins on Tuesday. Scholars are going to receive a letter in the mail with a barcode, and Anyone 18 years or younger in the city of Cleveland will have access to free meals, regardless of where they attend school. So if you wanted to come to Riverside and pick up meals for your whole family, even if they all didn't go to Riverside, if they were under 18, you would still have an opportunity to collect those meals. Option 1 for meal pickup is picking up 4 days a week. So it would be grab and go on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And on Tuesday, you would get food for Tuesday and for Wednesday. Option 2 is that you pick up once a week. So this is only available at the 17 high school sites. And what you would do is you would go to the closest high school to you, to where you live, and they would give you food for the entire week. Now, this is something that gets selected during your family care plan call. So if you haven't gotten that call, when they do call you, they'll ask that question. And for those of you who've already received the call, you know, and they've already shared this with you, hopefully.
We wanted to mention to everybody that Riverside is very lucky to have a PTC, which in many buildings is called a PTA, but Riverside is super special, so we call ours a parent-teacher council. This is a very busy and invested group of parents. They're always looking for families who want to be involved in helping to continue to make Riverside even stronger. The PTC is responsible for hosting a variety of fundraisers, selling spiritware, and partnering with teachers on grants to improve classrooms and instructions. We are looking for some of you to join us this year. Don't be shy, the PTC needs you. And in case you wanted to have an extra close relationship to Miss Kamastar and I, we attend every PTC meeting every single month. It's actually one of the events on my calendar that I look most forward to. I love having an opportunity to sit down with our parents and discuss anything that comes up, but also plan to continue to make Riverside even stronger. So below is a picture of their very active Facebook page. And so if you are not following the Riverside PTC Facebook page, we encourage you to do so today. We're lucky because our secretary is the former president of the PTC, so we have an in, so she's able to provide you guys the latest and greatest information before it hits anywhere else.
Well, and I think it's worth noting, Ms. Gamble, that we're still meeting with the PTC Executive Board, even though the building is closed. What we've been doing is we've been hosting virtual Zooms. We had one back in the spring and then just one a few days back, and we're going to continue to do that while we're in the virtual learning period.
We also have some other great supports and resources in our building. And for some of you, you might know who this lady is right here in Bitmoji format. That is our dynamic nurse, Miss Upperman. And if you are having any questions about nursing, about COVID, about medications, about your children's health, she is available via email all the time. We also have Miss Conahan. She is our planning center professional, and you can reach her by email. And we work with Applewood in terms of mental health services, and we work with Miss Linda Cohen, and she is our school-based therapist. And their contact information is there. That's you.
So we have Riverside social media. We have a Twitter account, a Facebook PTC account, and an Instagram account for the building. So we hope that you will join these 3 different social media outlets, or whichever one you tend and follow on a regular basis. So the Riverside Instagram page, Ms. Gamble and I oversee that. Our PTC oversees, with the assistance of us, the Facebook and the Twitter page as well. Okay, tomorrow, students are going to have a practice test run with their teachers. So this will be for students in 1st through 8th grade. Kindergarten, we were holding off on because they were able to pick up their technology. So there's going to be a tech pickup tomorrow instead. What it is tomorrow, though, it's going to be a live session where your child can see their teacher. This is not required, but highly encouraged. Okay, so attendance will not start until Tuesday, but we wanted to give folks who do already have devices an opportunity to kind of get comfortable and log in and out and practice. So it's tomorrow. It's from 10 to 12. You will do this through a Microsoft Teams meeting that you can link to in Schoology. So remember, you'll go through the CMSD website, Clever. Once you're in Clever, then you go to Schoology, and from there you will see the meeting your teacher has invited you to. Now, we will say the teachers have been working feverishly to get these invites into Clever and then into Schoology via Clever. Some of them are still uploading those tonight. So if you go in there and you don't see the meeting invite, don't panic yet. It'll be there tomorrow. Okay, our teachers have been working all hours, to say the least. And we are so very proud of them. So what this is gonna do though, is it's really just gonna give step-by-step directions. Teachers can also, there's some samples on Dojo on the teacher's class story that list out what we practiced with you tonight as well. Hold on, Miss Gamble, you know what it is, my mouse pad is freezing.
That's okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to unshare my screen in a minute. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna give you an opportunity in the chat to ask some questions. And how we'll do this is we'd like you to type your question in the chat, and then I will read it, and either Miss Gamble or I will answer it. So we can do this. We do have another meeting after this for Arabic speaking families, but we're gonna try to get to as many questions as we can. If for some reason we need to end the session and we haven't answered your question, we're going to save the chat, and we will go back through and reach out and answer questions within the next 48 hours. So I'm gonna stop sharing. Thank goodness I have a touch screen. I'm gonna resync my screen. All right, Miss Gamble, can you make the chat functionable again, please?
It is.
And I'll pull it up. Okay, perfect. Okay, so at this point in your chat, you should see a message asking everyone to mute themselves, and then Miss Gamble saying, good evening, the chat is disabled. Great. So now, first question, is there a school supply list for special education students in grade 8?
There is a school, so when we close school in the spring, we always send you guys the school supply list when we send the last report card. We try not to wait until the middle of summer. We want to send it out early in case you guys want to get the good school supply deals. We are leaving it up to families whether or not they want to purchase those items on the school supply list. The reality is the district is providing you with a supply box for the first 9 weeks. And obviously we don't know what's going to happen after the first 9 weeks of school. So it is completely up to your family if you want to purchase those items that are on the school supply list. If you need it from your child's teacher, they have it and they can send it to you through Class Dojo, or you can message Ms. Kamastar and I, and we can send you a copy. We are not requiring anybody to purchase items off of those school supply list. We understand that there are a lot of circumstances going on, and we don't want you buying things that you're just going to hold on to for potentially 3 months or even longer than that.
Okay, next question. Will the kids be able to see their schedule each morning?
So they really will follow the same schedule every day. The only thing in their day that changes would be the specials class that they have at that time. So every single day, all of our students will log into their first period class, and they will have a morning meeting with their teacher and then proceed to live learning. The students will determine that from the schedule that the teachers share on the first day. The kids will know where to go before school starts. So when they log into Schoology, there'll be an update for them right there on that front page that tell them which course to go to start their day. But for example, if you are, and I know the parent who asked that question, if I'm Addison, in my first period class every day is ELA or English Language Arts. Every morning at 8:30, I know I log into English Language Arts, and that's the first place I go every single day. And I click the meeting link that'll be at the top of that course page, and I'll be able to meet my teacher and my friends right in that meeting. So we are trying to make it as simple as possible, but I want to remind everybody that these are routines that we have to establish with kids. And it might take a couple of days for them to remember, oh yeah, ELA every single morning at 8:30.
Well, and one of the things Miss Gamble and I did is we were very intentional in not giving the students encores or specials first period, so that everybody can log in those 4 days of the week and see their homeroom teacher for a morning meeting. So they may go to specials second period or seventh period or eighth period, but that first period, we want them to be in with their homeroom teacher, having a morning meeting, checking in each day. Okay, so next question. What if I work during the day? Will it be held against my child to do the work in the afternoon?
That's a wonderful question. And so the great thing about this attendance policy it is very flexible. So if your children are not able to log into live learning during the school day due to whatever circumstances you and your family have, they will have the opportunity to watch all the live sessions recorded in video when you guys have a chance as a family. Then the teacher will go back and adjust the attendance for what they watched and what they completed. So if they can't watch during the day and you guys have an opportunity to start watching at 4 o'clock in the evening and they watch the lessons and they complete the work they're supposed to complete, we would adjust their attendance the following day to say present. But I do want to let you guys know that you might receive an attendance call if they didn't show up to any live sessions during the day, because we have to mark attendance in real time. We will go back and adjust it once they've completed the work and watched the videos, but we have to mark them absent for the current session. So they have the opportunity to finish it whenever they want to, but just know that if they miss the whole day live, you might get an attendance call that they weren't present.
Okay, if we use our own devices, will we have an IT department if there's any compatibility issues?
That is a wonderful question. So the district is going to be doing a hotline, a tech hotline. They've been training people for the call center for the last 2 weeks to answer a variety of questions about the programs we'll be using. The number is open. I feel as though the best and most honest answer I could give you today is that they would be able to troubleshoot with you, but I'm not sure that they would be able to fix your device in person if they open up a in-person stop-up kind of place, like a pop-up tech place. But I can't imagine they wouldn't troubleshoot with you on the phone. I just don't see them actually like trying to fix your device if it has problems. They will only physically fix a district-issued device.
Okay, next question. And just so that folks know, some people have sent me questions privately. So if I read a question you don't see in the chat, it's because people are sending them both different ways there. So the next question you're not going to see, but I do is, will the students spend any time on video calls during instruction time?
So the kids will be on live calls off and on all day. They have to get live or what we call synchronous instruction every single day. They will not be on Zoom. The district is not using Zoom for student use. They will be using Microsoft Teams that they will be able to access through their Schoology accounts. So yes, there will be live video calls that are happening every single day.
Next question. In terms of attendance, if my kindergartner won't sit still during school hours and we have to go back to lessons later in the day, how will this impact their attendance?
So very similar to the other question that was asked, if your student is having a hard time staying still or they had to get up and you guys weren't able to do it during their regular school hours, whatever videos were sent out and whatever work was assigned to students independently, as soon as that work is completed or those videos are watched, we adjust their attendance in the system. So it has to be very flexible, right? We can't be super stringent on attendance like we were when we were in a brick and mortar building. You dropped them off to us and we kept them until you picked them up. And so we have to accommodate and we have to be flexible that if all of you guys have a variety of situations going on in your home, and although we have a regular school day set up, that might not work for your family schedule. So anytime they do work after hours that was assigned during the day, we will give them credit for that and adjust their attendance.
Okay, next question. When will schools open? When will school open?
The first day of school is Tuesday, September 8th, which is this upcoming Tuesday.
As far as if you're asking when schools will open, like we'll go back in person, we really just have no way of knowing. But the first official day of school is September 8th, which will happen virtually. Next question. If we do not have login information for our children, when will we receive that so we can log in? Also, if we do not have any devices, does that count against attendance until devices are available? Great question.
You guys are some good question answers. You remind me of the Riverside staff and the questions they asked throughout the course of the day. So the first question, sorry, Heather, what was the first question? I shouldn't have
So
made it.
if they don't have their login information, how do they get that?
So you can get it two ways. You can message your child's teacher, or maybe three ways. You can message your child's teacher in Class Dojo and see if you have, if they can send it to you. You can email Miss Star or I, or message us in Class Dojo, or you can call the main office and they can point you in the direction of how to get it. Class Dojo will probably be the fastest because we can cut and paste and drop it right into your message. The other question on that, Heather, was?
So it was, if this is actually a great question, and I'm glad someone brought this up. If we do not have devices, will that count against us for attendance? Absolutely not. No.
So for example, if on Tuesday of this upcoming week, you can't log into any of the live sessions because you don't have technology yet, that your child it will not be counted against you until the whole school is outfitted. Just like if your technology goes down in the middle of a live session and you let the teacher know, like, our internet went out, we weren't able to do it, we cannot count devices or internet against attendance.
Okay, the next question kind of goes with the how to get login information. If you're not able to access Schoology, every student has been issued their own CMSD's email address. If you could shoot your teacher a message on Dojo or email one of us, we will make sure you have the correct Schoology login. Okay, let's go down a little. I have 3 older kids, grades 6, 7, and 8, but we only have one device. How will they do practice tomorrow?
So, hi, Miss Bird. I know that was your question. So, I can't believe you have 3 middle schoolers this year. That is crazy. For tomorrow is an open session. So it's 2 hours of open. You guys log in when you're able to log in, and the kids will only be in there for probably 5 or 10 minutes because all we're doing tomorrow is just providing a space for people to practice. There's no lesson. We're not like giving a quiz tomorrow. So if you have multiple children and you're sharing one device, you would just let each one practice on their own over the course of the 2 hours. I can't imagine most kids will be in there longer than 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, a couple of things. One, how will we get the laptops? We will have a pickup at school. We will send you all of the information once the laptops are in our hand. We will do like a drive-by thing where you pull up, you stay in your car, we get you everything you need, and you drive off. The next question is, I will be bringing my son to work with me. Will it be held against him if he cannot log in until 9 a.m.?
For right now, I would say I would prefer to talk to you personally about that question. If between 8:30 and 8:55 they're doing morning meeting and they haven't really started any instruction, I would say he would just be counted tardy.
We want to make sure everyone can be at those morning meetings when they can, but we also recognize that some other things are happening, and we will work with families on an individual basis. Okay, my son does not have a Clever account. What do I need to do to receive one so he can log in tomorrow or Tuesday?
Miss Jemison, I can go back and check. So I know your child was a new transfer or a transfer in about 2 days ago. Sometimes if students are coming new to the district, it sometimes takes like 1 or 2 days for the system to catch up. We actually could see your son's email address in the secure portal the other day, but we actually could not see the username and password. So I'll make a note to myself right now, Ms. Jemison, to check that tonight and then send you a message on Class Dojo if it's updated, okay?
Okay, next we have, I've never received info for Josiah. So if you send a Dojo message to Josiah's teacher, we can get the login information for you that way, or you can message either one of us. I'm gonna scroll down just a little bit here. Hold on 1 second. Hello, I have a 7th grader that attends there and she hasn't received a tablet yet. Okay, so again, we do not have the technology for 1st through 8th grade yet. Our hope is that we would have it within the next few days. The minute we have technology in our building, Miss Gamble and I are going to work to send out messages to everyone. Okay, will students be able to see each other when they are in their virtual classes?
Great question. So they will be able to see those students whose cameras are on. So I'm going to explain. Microsoft Teams and Zoom are really the same, but they're very different. So in Microsoft Teams, we have this grid view when you can see almost anybody who has their camera on at the same time. In Microsoft Teams, you only really can see 2 or 3 people at a time. The students will not actually be using the app to locate these calls. They'll be using the browser every day. So they'll always be able to see the speaker, which will be their teacher, and themselves, and maybe 1 or 2 other kids. What the teachers have the ability to do is share their screen in a grid view where all the kids can see one another. So Microsoft Teams is actually less distracting than Zoom. Zoom has a lot going on because you can see, like, you could keep scrolling through everybody. They actually call that Zoom fatigue because you get so caught up in looking at what everyone is doing on the call. On Microsoft Teams, the kids don't really have the ability to do that scroll and see all the kids all the time.
So the next question is, my mom and I have been trying to log into Class Dojo through a student, but it says incorrect password or username. So we haven't tried everything they gave us, but we've tried everything they gave us, but it didn't work. You may not have the correct dojo information. Why don't you call the main office tomorrow? Miss Davis has the master list and we can send you a new dojo invite so that we make sure you're connected to the right teacher. So
you also need to log on. You also need to log on as a parent. The usernames and passwords we give you are not for students. This year, we're not more than likely going to be using the student side of Class Dojo. We're using the parent side. So if the teacher shared a code with you, you need to join as a parent, not as a student.
Okay, so I am still unclear on how the instruction teaching will take place.
So like an example, like I would assume, Heather, our Ms.
I think so. Yeah.
So the students have, so almost kind of like in the format that we've used with you tonight is almost a good example of how instruction will look every day. The students will log into a call with their teacher and their classmates, and the teachers will have a lesson that they're going to present. We do have a variety of mediums to teach these lessons. One is using a slideshow like we showed you guys today, where there might be content and linked videos inside of there. And the teacher has the ability to come in and out of that slideshow to present content. We have the ability for students to use interactive whiteboards on their own device so they can solve math problems in real time with their teachers. We have the ability to screen share stories with kids and do read alouds. We have all sorts of devices that we're going to use to engage kids in online learning. So the presentation from teachers every day will look differently depending on what they're presenting. But I would imagine you guys are going to see a variety of different slideshows if you're watching. You're going to see teachers playing videos. You're going to see interactive books. And the same goes for the students' independent work too. Many of our younger students will be using a program called Seesaw, which is really like an online student portfolio where they can go and save work and they can actually record themselves reading aloud to their teacher. They can create a video to explain how they're learning. They can use a whiteboard pad to solve their math problems. And the teacher actually gets to see how they solve that from beginning to end in a video. And so, listen, all of us before a couple of weeks ago have been learning on our own for months. And in the last 4 weeks, the teachers at Riverside have been involved in some intense professional development to prepare ourselves for this experience. We always want to remind you guys that we are literally flying this plane as we build it. This thing is in the sky, and we keep tossing in seats and windows and seat belts and sinks because we are already there. We're learning how to do it and we're trying to perfect it every single day. And just like we tell our teachers, it's not going to be perfect on September 8th. It won't be, but it will be better on the 12th and on the 20th and October 15th and on November 1st. It will look nothing like it looked like on September 8th. So we need you guys to take this ride with us and be patient. As we have to be patient with everybody at home as you are learning something brand new on how to educate your kiddos. We are in this together and we will work it out together.
So along those lines, a question received privately: how much time will the students spend on video calls per day? we will have about an average of 150 to 180 minutes, depending on the grade level, unless they're in pre-K, of synchronous or live on calls with teachers during the day. So we're looking at between 150 and 180 minutes per day. And then before I read the next question, I'm going to ask, if you are just posting comments in the chat, I'm going to ask that you don't do that and that we only post questions, because we want to do our very best to get through. And right now we have 266 new messages. So a lot of those are just kiddos posting things. And although we miss you too, and we love you and we can't wait to see you, we want to make sure we're asking and answering the very important questions that your families are asking. So please don't post unless you have a question, and we'll do our very best to scroll through. The next question is super important as well. How will they be tested, and will they be able to take tests on their own time if they miss a test?
Oh, that is a great, wow, you guys have some good questions tonight. So the students will be tested. So a couple of things I want to remind you guys of is, because when you guys ask about minutes per day, when we left school on March 13th, that was an emergency, right? When we left on March 13th, we actually thought we were coming back to school 3 weeks later. And then in that 3-week period, they said, no, you guys are going to be out another 3 weeks. And then in that second 3-week period, they said, actually, you guys aren't going back to school for the rest of the year. And that was an emergency situation where we had no time to plan. And the state kind of, dropped some things out because we were all gone, and no states really, or no districts really could prepare for what virtual learning looked like in a day. So what happened in March is almost nothing like what's happening right now. Right now, we're really preparing for real school, except the students aren't going to be sitting in a desk with us inside of a classroom. The state hasn't pulled up on that gas pedal when it comes to any of the laws that were in place prior to COVID happening. We are still required to educate students the same number of minutes per day as though they were sitting in a desk with us. We are still required to take attendance as though they were sitting in a desk with us. We are still required to assess students just as though they were sitting in desks with us. So starting at the end of September, we will be giving the NWEA assessment. We will be giving the kindergarten readiness assessment for kindergartners. We will be determining if students need to be on reading improvement monitoring plans or RIMPs in grades K to 3. And as of right now, we are planning to take an Ohio assessment at some point this school year. The state has not let up on any of those things. The district does have a testing plan in terms of NWEA, and we will go through those protocols with teachers over the next 2 weeks before we start testing. But we will begin testing our first through third graders at the end of September. It will be a different look because they won't be in a certain type of browser, but they will log into NWEA, they will be timed, and they will have to take a test with a camera on because we have to ensure that they are taking it independently. And I also believe there is a parent component to those assessments as well. And so as crazy as it sounds as a parent myself, that my second grader is going to be taking NWEA from home, these go beyond CMSD. These are state requirements that we are still required to uphold. So we will still be doing all of those things, and we still will be testing students based upon what teachers are teaching as well.
Okay, next question. Will there be homework during the virtual learning portion of the year?
So asynchronous or the independent is really kind of homework. They're already spending a portion of the day on the computer with teachers, and then a portion of the day working independently. Most of that independent work would be considered homework. We have talked to the staff about not assigning a lot of things that go past 3 o'clock. It's already a long day on the computer. We want to ensure that you guys are spending time with them, that they're getting outside to play. Some of the things that you guys might see past the 3 o'clock hour might be students asking to watch a quick video or participating in activity with their family and be ready to share that in the morning. But homework in the traditional sense, we shouldn't be seeing that. They'll be able to do that independently throughout the 8:30 to 3 day.
We also want to make sure that for our families who do have to log on at night and do have to do the work and rewatch the videos, that you're not having to do the whole day's lessons plus homework. So we're going to do our very best to continue to work with the teachers, and they're going to do their very best to not have, you know, an excessive amount of things that have to happen outside of that regular school day. Okay, so another question about logging into Dojo. You are not logging in as a student, you are logging in as a parent. So we're not using the student side of Dojo right now. You'll go in under the parent side or family side, guardian side of that. Okay, next. Do you know when we can expect the info from the district to set up a parent Clever account? Still waiting for an email.
Yeah. That's a great question, because I've had a couple of you guys have actually messaged me on Class Dojo saying you emailed the information that was on that flyer and you're waiting on a response email. At least I haven't, and then Ms. Comistar might have. I haven't heard any updates on the length of time. I would hope it would be less than 48 hours that you guys would be signed up for an account, but I don't know if they're feeling flooded with people responding and they have to go through one at a time and add those parents. But I would imagine 48 hours. If it's been longer than 48 hours, can you send me a message in Class Dojo or an email so I can follow up with somebody from information technology?
Okay, next. And I do want to clarify one thing. There was someone that put in the chat that we will have our technology on Tuesday. That is not a for certain date. Please, we are waiting to hear. We are literally being updated day by day. We're trying to reach out and figure out when the tech is coming. We do not have an absolute date for tech deployment yet. When we do, we will let you know. The only grades that we have technology in hand for right now are pre-K and kindergarten. The next question, I'll go ahead and answer and then scroll down some more. Can you clarify when they'll be using Zoom and when they'll be using Teams?
The students
No instruction will happen on Zoom. All instruction will happen on Teams. Now, if you want to have a parent meeting with just you and the teacher, or maybe Miss Gamble and you and I need to jump on a call, or maybe you have an IEP meeting or an ETR meeting for special education services, those might happen on Zoom. But no student instruction will happen on Zoom. Okay, I'm going to scroll up and keep going, Miss Gamble. Will tablets and cell phone works, oh, excuse me, will tablets and cell phones work until the Chromebooks are available?
So I can tell you Schoology does have an app, and Microsoft Teams does have an app that you could download to your phone that could be a temporary, Band-Aid until that works. It's hard for me to answer the questions about tablets because there are so many different types of tablets and not all of them possess the same capabilities in terms of running programs. I would say you can always give it a shot on a tablet and see if it'll connect to Clever and then open up Schoology. The one thing we know for sure does not work on a tablet is Lexia and PowerUp. Those only work on computers or iPads. That's just the way the program is huge. A tablet actually can't run the capabilities that that program requires. But I mean, I use Microsoft Teams on my cell phone all the time when I'm in between or on the go. And so I do know that Teams does work on your phone, and Schoology does have an app.
And Teams works on Android and iPhones, so it works on both. I do not have internet at home, and there's a couple of questions like this. I don't have internet at home. Are you going to provide it?
So the district, it will provide all families who need internet, either a hotspot, but Cleveland all summer has been building the Digital C network. Today, they connected the Clark Fulton neighborhood where people were able to come to a location to get free internet, but by their goal, they're actually moving across the city. So we're at the furthest west side point, but our neighborhood will be connected to the Digital C network. So in between that happening, the district will issue a hotspot. And then once the Digital C network is connected into our area, then we would ask you guys return those hotspots and you'll have access to free Wi-Fi. We will tell you guys, so much equity work has come out of this school closure, not only in Cleveland, but across the country. And CEO Gordon believes heavily that internet should be a free public utility, that families should not be having to pay for that. It's an equity issue. And so the Digital C network is closing that equity divide.
Okay, will they need textbooks?
Right now we have textbooks for middle school ELA that are ready to be deployed. We will still be waiting on the math textbooks and potentially ELA. Those items have not hit. If they do come to the building, then we would just have you guys come and pick them up if needed.
So the morning meeting and all information that is going on between 8:30 and 3 will be available to start doing after that time for families to go from to start the day at the end of the day or later. So let me make sure I heard that correctly. Okay, so let me see if I can figure this question out a little. Yes, I think is your answer. From 8:30 to 3, anytime a teacher is providing live instruction, it will be recorded and available to your child to watch at a later time. There will be some asynchronous or not live activities throughout the day. All activities from 8:30 to 3 will be housed in Schoology, and your student would be able to access them at 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. At any point, they can access what was presented via Schoology. All right, and someone asked how long this is going to be, and I'm going to tell you we have maybe 15 more minutes, but then we need to wrap up because we have another session for Arabic speaking families at 7 o'clock. So let me keep going down. All right. What will the students be issued daily planners with the kits you mentioned earlier? So are the students getting planners as part of the supply kits?
No, because their Schoology account has a calendar on it. So for any time they have a live meeting, it'll be put on their calendar.
Miss Upperman wanted to pop in and say that she misses you all and she can't wait to see you all, and that we've been working hard to prepare. How do I put all of my kids on one Class Dojo account?
All of your kids can be on one Class Dojo. I don't know if it's easy for me to show you through my phone. I'm trying to do it this way. I have to toggle between being a teacher and a parent real quick. On this page that looks like this, turn off the light. When I log in as a parent, this is the first page that I come to, and it has both of my kids on here, Kevin and Kai. And if I needed to add a third kid, I would just go to the Add Child button, and it would pop the third kid on there. Oops, my backlight, sorry. Okay, so you can add up as many kids as you have. You can add them to Class Dojo. What happens is all of the school stories come in one feed like this. This is our regular school story. And your individual child stories would be on their account under kids. So if I clicked on Kevin and I went to his classes, I would see Miss Quinn's class right there. So if you're in second grade, now you know Kevin's going to be in your class, and you could see all of her stories on there. And my daughter is going to be in pre-K this year.
So you can on Dojo have multiple children. Next thing, will there be accommodations for kiddos on an IEP regarding testing?
Yes, we are still legally required to provide them the same testing accommodations they have on their IEPs for sure. If that's small group, if that's one-on-one, if it's extended time, if it's a scribe, whatever's on there, we will provide in a virtual space for sure.
What about WAVE? Are we going to have WAVE?
Victor, that's a wonderful question, Victor.
It is awesome, Victor. I love it.
I'm going to put, Victor, that on my list of things to think about when it comes to continuing some of the programs you guys are used to using in a regular school building. But I actually didn't think about that, Victor, so thank you for putting that on my radar.
Ms. Gamble, you want to tell folks what WAVE is in case they don't know while I scroll to the next question?
So WAVE is a program where we train students to be peer mediators and fight against bullying. And so these students are trained to learn how to solve conflicts between students. It's something that they really love doing, and they love helping their peers. And so if we have issues where kids are fighting or kids are arguing, or there's a little bit of a disgruntled nature with friends, then they provide that peer mediation for those scholars.
Okay, so for those testing, will there only be testing during school hours? Or what if they need to take a test later at night?
That's a great question. And as of right now, I don't have the answer to that. That's just full transparency. I don't know.
When we do know, we will let you know though. Some of these things, it's that whole plane in the air, and we are figuring them out as we go. How are kids going to be graded for specials, including gym and art and music?
So gym, art, and music, I can have Mr. Roach answer because I see him there too. But they will be doing a combination of both live and independent sessions with those teachers throughout the course of the week. So it'll probably be a combination of participation as well as whatever assignments they were given to complete. Art would be if she's teaching a lesson and they have to go back and submit the rest of their art project or take a picture of it and upload it to Schoology. They would be graded on those things. I think a large part of our encores are going to be graded on participation, as it's really difficult to teach a class virtually how to play hockey. But they might watch videos on hockey and they might learn about positions in hockey and they might be given an assignment about that. Or they might be asked to create their own hockey game that follows the same type of rules, and they would upload that assignment to Schoology and they would be graded on that.
Will IEPs be revised to accommodate virtual learning?
No, as far as I know, there are going to be no revision to IEPs to accommodate virtual learning. If those students were receiving minutes in a pull-out resource room classroom for ELA, math, or speech, they'll still receive those in a virtual setting.
So what will happen, to expand on that just a little bit, is that they may have a session with their homeroom teacher and then another session with their intervention specialist. So each day it might look a little different for them because they may have some pull-out time or some time in a different teacher's classroom that would be added to their Schoology schedule.
And for like their speech or occupational and physical therapy, they will still work with those service providers in a one-on-one environment, just virtually.
That was actually almost the next question I was going to ask. So yes, speech and other related services will still happen. Okay, so a parent commented privately that they went on to Dojo and were able to get all 4 kids within about 10 minutes on there. Okay, we talked about questions, logging into Schoology. Hold on one second. Folks, again, please stop if you're not asking a question because I really don't want to miss any of the important questions.
It's just some of our scholars that are putting all those comments in there, which leads me to believe you have been away from school so long because adults have now asked you 2 times to stop putting comments in the chat and people are not listening. So I'm gonna need you to put your listening ears on, friends. And if you are a Riverside student, we would like you to stop putting comments in the chat so that we can answer your parents' questions. We love you guys and we miss you, but we need you to follow directions right now.
Okay, so if my child doesn't have, this is another great question. If my child doesn't have technology by Tuesday, will they be playing catch up once they get the technology? No. We are gonna make sure that if we don't have that technology in everybody's hand on Tuesday, we do more of a soft opening, okay? So we've already talked to the teachers about this. We may post some activities on Dojo or some other information on Dojo that they can work on while we're getting devices in hand, but we're going to make sure that they are not starting behind anyone who already has a device. Again, that's an equity issue, and we're gonna do our very best to make sure every last Riverside owl is connected before we go full speed with educational lessons and with curriculum.
Yeah, our focus next week is actually not instruction. Our focus next week is on teaching the kids the tools and making sure they can get in and also connecting and building that relationship with them. That's critical in a virtual environment, that they can feel connected to an adult. But also we have to teach them all these tools because we actually can't teach a lesson and we need them to go to a whiteboard and they don't know what the whiteboard is. And so we have to teach them all the routines. So if we were in the classroom, we'd be teaching them how to push their chairs in and how to sit down and how to stand up and how to ask to go to the bathroom. And guess what? We're going to teach all those same things in a virtual environment because kids might have to go to the bathroom in the middle of a math lesson and we have to have a procedure in place for that to happen.
Okay, so Mr. Gilbert put on here a really good thing. Class Dojo will be parent communication, Schoology, kid communication, and parent communication. So Dojo is our method to reach all of the adults, all of the guardians, grandmas, grandpas, parents. We're gonna do that through Dojo. Schoology is where the kid, where all of our scholars are gonna get all of their information. So, okay, let's see. That was another one. Hold on. A couple of them sent private and together. So I just want to make sure. So let me scroll up some more. Will speech therapists be available after 3 p.m. for IEP students?
It's a great question that I actually don't have the answer for. Right now, the teachers do have a scheduled work day, and that is negotiated by their bargaining agreement. I am not sure if speech therapists would be available after 3 p.m. That's something I think we would have to talk about privately. And that's also something we would have to talk about with the speech therapist. I can't answer that question here.
Here is a question that I can answer. Someone wanted to know Ms. Novak's email. And Miss Novak's first name is Denise. So her email is denise.novak@clevelandmetroschools.org. Denise, DENISE .Novak, NOVAK. Now, if you're already connected to Dojo and you send her a message to Dojo, she can get it to you that way too. But it's Denise.Novak. All of the teachers, all of the staff for that matter, like Miss Gamble is Jessica.Gamble@Cleveland, so on and so on. I'm Heather. Mine's weird because of the hyphen, but I'm Heather._star@Cleveland Metro Schools. So it's your teacher's first name dot last name if you would rather reach someone by email. So I think I truly apologize if I missed a question. I've tried to scroll through and get every single question that I could, which actually I think we're doing good with time because our next meeting, we're going to log off and end this meeting because we're going to start in just a few minutes. We're going to start an Arabic speaking meeting for our Arabic speaking families. So Miss Gamble, I think that's all on the chat.
So we just want to say thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. And thank you for taking this virtual learning ride with us for the next 9 weeks. Our staff is super excited to get started next week. And I think we're all a little bit nervous too, because this is the first time we've ever started school without seeing kids in front of us and without being able to give hugs, high fives, and fist bumps. So we will see all of you in a virtual world either tomorrow on the practice or Tuesday. Stay connected to your class dojo. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. We don't have a TikTok yet, but we're working on it. And we love all you guys. We miss you so much. And we will see you guys as soon as we can.
We love you and we miss you. Take care. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.